Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of AutoHrycFix. The weather's getting colder out here in Canada. We're calling for snow. Winter's on its way. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go through a little checklist of things to verify before winter. So it's a sort of a winterizing your car kind of a thing. We're just going to go over a few things to take a look at just to make sure that everything is okay for the winter so that we have no problems. You can get them looked at before the big snow comes down. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start. All right, so the first place we're going to start when winterizing your car, looking over things to make sure everything is okay for winter, is the engine bay. Just open up the hood, take a look underneath, make sure that there's no leaks, oil leaks, antifreeze leaks, so that you'll be safe during the winter months. You want to take a look at your drive belt just to make sure that there's no cracks in the drive belt, and if there is, I would replace it, because with the colder weather what happens is that those cracks the rubber gets harder and you might get stranded, so you don't want that to happen. A good thing to have at home if you were a DUI person is a antifreeze tester. Basically it just shows you if your antifreeze is good for a certain temperature, so that you'd be okay for winter. Basically, you just take the tester, put it into your reservoir, push on the squeeze the little top, antifreeze will fill in, put it up like that to make sure the antifreeze don't come out, and it'll show you the degrees of how good your antifreeze is. And if you can see if it's underneath the threshold, I would suggest to replace it. Another important thing, battery. You can buy battery testers at your local hardware store. They're little units that can just test the battery to see if it's good or not. Also, just look at the condition of the battery. Make sure that there's no corrosion around the terminals that would cause a resistance, so to have a harder start in the winter. Basically, your battery is like the heart of your car, especially in the winter time. With the colder temperatures, your starter will ask a lot more amperage to start the car, and you need a good battery. Duration life of a battery usually maximum would be 5 years. So if you guys are hitting up there in age in your batteries, I would suggest that you would replace them. Another thing is, a lot more of us are working from home, so we're not using our cars as often, so they're sitting for a longer period of time. I would suggest picking up a trickle charger. I have mine here, so the wire is always plugged to the battery, and when I know that I'm not going to be using the vehicle for a long period of time, I'll just plug in my trickle charger, and it will keep the battery charged up, so that when the time that I do need it, I won't be stranded anywhere. Another good thing to take a look at when taking a look before winter would be your air filter. In different makes and models, it's situated in different areas, but usually it comes out of the intake, and you'll see there's a box. Sometimes there's clips, sometimes there's screws. In my case, it's clipped on. You just clip it, take the box out, and pull out your air filter. You want to just visually inspect your air filter just to see if it's good. Yes, it might be a little bit dark, but the best bet to do is just stick it to the sun, and if you can see through it, or a light, if you can see through it, you're still good. It's always good to replace your air filter, especially before winter, because you want your engine to be breathing properly. Alright, so the next thing to verify would be your windshield washer fluid. Always keep this topped off. Another thing I would suggest is to make sure that it is at least minus 45 degrees ready. If you don't know, or you don't recall what you put in during the summertime and you're not sure, I would remove the liquid inside, try it yourself, or have a professional remove the liquid, and then fill it back up with minus 45 windshield washer, because you don't want it freezing over the winter, so that and then you need to use it and whoop, the bottle's frozen. I know some people are just like, oh, I'm just gonna add in the minus 45, I don't know what else is in there. Guys, I've seen it before, it freezes. All right, so remember, minus 45 windshield washer fluid minimum. And another very important fact is to always make sure you have good wiper blades. Always verify the condition of your wiper blades. You want to see when you're driving out there. You don't know how harsh the conditions can get out there in the wintertime. Your best friend, one of your best friends is windshield washer fluid and your wiper blades. All right. All right, so now we move on to winter tires. As you all know, they're becoming more and more mandatory in more and more areas. Here, we have a time period when we have to put them on before a certain date. We have to have them off before a certain date. Just verify in your area for those dates. When you're looking at your winter tires, just always try and make sure that the threads are well worn. There's no cracks in the tire, and make sure that you have a good sufficient amount of tread to have a good and safe winter season. Another thing to do is always to make sure that you have the proper PSIs in your tire. You don't want to overinflate them because of the fact that when it gets too cold, it's going to have like a skating effect, and you don't want that. Just always make sure you put it at the proper PSI to have the proper traction on your car. Also for winter tires, depending on your needs, you can always have normal ice and snow winter tires. There's different brands. There's also just snow tires, and also they have studded tires. Like I said again, depending on your driving habits, you can choose from one of them. The best thing for me in our area is to have a winter tire which has a very high snow and ice rating. I don't need the studded tires here. They're more in areas when you're driving up more in the north or with more icier conditions. All right, so now we're gonna go into the vehicle and take a look at our cabin filters. All right, so here we have it, our cabin filter. It's not too bad. I've seen worse. I'm probably gonna go ahead and replace it just the same. What we're looking at this is basically the same thing as an air filter, but for your cabin, for your air conditioning. Usually when this is blocked, it creates a lot of humidity, and when you have humidity in the car, that's usually what happens when you have all the frost inside the car. A clean cabin filter will help with the defrosting of the interior of the vehicle for those vehicles that have air conditioning. A few good things to keep in your glove box during the winter time: some toe warmers and some hand warmers. You never know if you might need them. Hopefully you don't, but at least you do. You will have them if something happens. Another thing, I have a crank flashlight just in case. I know our phones and a lot of things have flashlights already, but it's always good to keep a crank flashlight just in case if your battery dies or you know, you never know. Better be safe than sorry. All right, so we all know winter comes. What else comes with it? Winter floor mats. My tip, always to keep them as dry as possible. Whenever you have a little bit of water or anything like that on them, maybe just get a chamois and wipe it up so that it doesn't create humidity in the car. From personal experience, you know, there's that myth, always keep newspapers in the car underneath to dry up all the dampness in the car. I'm all for it. The only thing about that is change them regularly. If you don't have the intention of changing them regularly, don't put them in, because it's going to create humidity in the car. And another thing is, in those colder days, just remember, are you really going to want to try and get all that out? And have you ever taken a wet newspaper out? It falls apart. Best thing to do is always keep your floor mats dry. Like this, you won't need to put anything else under there. All right, so next we move to the trunk. I'm going to show you a few things that you guys should keep in your trunk if you have the place for during the winter and all times, as a little emergency kit for the winter. And like I said, you can keep it all the time. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so here is my trunk organizer. For those of you who have the space in their trunk that can get one of these, I highly recommend it. I wasn't always for trunk organizers. I was one of those guys that had a little box in the corner to have as much space as possible. But over the time, with all these plastic bags and stuff now that we have to have, it's a good thing to have. One side you can keep all your reusable bags, and on the other side you can keep all the good stuff that you need to stay safe during winter and at all times. All right, let's go ahead and take a look what we got. These are just a few things that I keep. If you want to add, you can go ahead and add. If you think it's too much, it's for you guys. I have my trusty tire repair kit you guys saw in one of the other videos. If you didn't see that video, you can just go ahead and look in the video section. I also have a tire inflator. Small little tire inflator. Has a light as well. And I like, one thing I like about this tire inflator is that there's a cutoff. So you set your tire pressure you want, and it shuts off automatically. For the cold weather, if you're not sure about the durability of your battery, I would suggest getting a booster pack. These little mini booster packs are great. I've used it quite a few times with the Civic. I don't drive it that often, so little booster pack has a little light. You can even plug in your phone if you're ever in a jam and you need to plug your phone in. It's always good. Very easy, very small, compact little things. Bungee cords, you know, never know, you need to like cover the car with something or a tarp or anything like that. It's always good to have bungee cords in the trunk. Extra oil. Check your oil grade, especially if you're in an older vehicle, you're not sure, you're going long distances in the wintertime, or even in wherever you're going. It's always good to have a little bit of oil to add to top off. A plastic bag just in case you need to tidy up or clean anything up and put stuff away. A bag is always very helpful. Kleenex packets, you never know when you might need them. I keep a tire pressure gauge as well, just in case. I have tie downs, and I have two camping benches just in case something happens. Always good to have a umbrella, you know, not only just if it's snowing, but in the rain. And one of these things, the shades for the front window, works well also in the wintertime. The sun heats it and it'll help melt the snow if anything. Keep you guys warm. So these are the few little things that I keep in my trunk. Not only for winter, for all times, but it's good to have especially for winter. Now, another thing I'd like to discuss is snow brushes. There's a whole bunch of snow brushes out there. Guys, you pick the one that you are most comfortable with. I have one. It's a telescopic head that pivots because I have a truck, so it's a little bit higher, so it's easier to grab and clean the snow off. Bristles, try and get the smoother the better so you don't scratch the paint, but it doesn't matter because you'll be waxing your car before winter anyway, because that helps as well, and so that this doesn't scratch the paint up too much either. One other very important thing, if you have doggies out there, doggy blanket. Make sure Baker stays warm in the car if ever anything happens. So there you have it, a little checklist that you guys can add on to if you need to. I hope it was very helpful. Hope you guys stay safe on the roads this winter, and I'll have the link to the checklist in my descriptions. Also, the website is up, my website, AutoHrycFix.com, and we're working on it, slowly adding things on. If you guys want to go ahead and take a look at that. If you like this video, like this type of content, please like, share, and subscribe. And guys, be safe out there. We'll see you next time. Bye.